Today we're watching an old one. It's called Don't Talk, and it was produced by the United States War Department, and it was made all the way back in 1942. And I think this is going to be a fun one because we're going to get to see the country in a state of mind that we have not been in for a very long time. That's funny that it started with the lion, the classic lion. Every American will know that as the beginning of a certain type of movie, but it's funny that it was put in front of even just a little presentation like this. But what does it say? It says, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer presents A Crime Does Not Pay Subject, Don't Talk. A crime does not pay subject, don't talk. All right, everyone, you hear me? Don't talk. No talking. Jeez, I did not realize we were going to have a whole, cast.
Once again, as the MGM crime reporter, it is my privilege to bring you another episode in our Crime Does Not Pay series.
All right, so it is a Crime Does Not Pay series. So what is the crime that we're talking about here? Talking, right? It seems like the crime is talking.
For obvious reasons, the events and characters depicted herein are fictitious. May I present Mr. Jack Sampson, Special Agent in charge of a Field Division Office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
I like the fact that this guy was just staring down when the camera panned to him. Like this whole time this other guy was talking, he was just staring at his desk.
The most unprecedented in history. Calls not only for the production of tanks and guns, planes and ships, but also for the building of a defense against enemy agents within our borders. Agents who once again threaten, as they did in 1917.
Agents that once again threaten, as in 1917. So yeah, clearly they're just in the midst of World War II, and they're hearkening back to World War I already.
Let us review a typical case that began in the early hours of November 29th, 1941. In a large industrial plant where a quantity of ferromanganese, and all vitally essential in the manufacture of machine tools, was awaiting the furnace.
I think what they're trying to do is tell us a story that is going to convince us not to talk. But I'm very curious how talking is the threat here. Already, so much work went into this production. This is clearly not an actual explosion. Somebody made a set to make it look like a factory exploded, if you couldn't tell by that perfectly placed sign right at the beginning of the shot. But this is propaganda. This is what actual propaganda looked like back in the day. And it's wild to see so much production going into it. Today, propaganda is a clip that somebody reposts on Twitter that took literally 1 second to make. But this is hours, weeks of production, of filming, of casting, of editing, and all of it. It's so much more involved than modern day propaganda.
Fortunately, only one storage bin went up. If the rest of that ferromanganese had been destroyed, our production schedule would have been in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, that siren must have frightened him off before he got to the other bins.
That's what I figure, Mr. Sampson. Our lights picked him up when he was halfway over the fence. We fired, but...
So you've got nothing that might help in a possible identification, huh?
He was too far away.
I see. Did you find anything?
No, whatever explosive...
See, that's crazy, too, that they would just have these explosives, unguarded back in the day. Again, that's, I feel like another result of being American. Our enemies are across the ocean. There's no way they're going to get into our factories here and home.
The fuse destroyed itself.
No. That manganese was a secret shipment, wasn't it?
That's right.
Who handled it?
5 of my most dependable men. They wouldn't talk.
Sometimes, Mr. Harmon,
Oh, there we go. They wouldn't talk. All right, we're starting to figure out why talking is so
a
bad.
man might talk without meaning to. Freed, I want to see those 5 men right away.
Right.
Where do you get shaved?
At Joe's. He's at 5th and Adams.
Patronize any bar rooms?
A couple. The Circle and Mac's place.
Where do you eat?
Usually just across the street from the plant at the Elite Cafe.
It's also so funny to see them do like this police investigation with like all the other suspects in the room at the same time.
Who's your barber? I shave myself. Say, what's all this about? I told you I don't talk about my work.
Well, all the same, one or two of you might have dropped an idle word that was picked up by some big-eared bartender or bellhop. Now, let's get on with the questions.
Although no official statement has yet been made regarding the early morning explosion at the Harmon factory, plant authorities indicate strong reason to suspect sabotage. Federal investigators are still gathering evidence at the scene.
Can you imagine people living in America doing things like
Today's
that?
forecast.
It's outrageous, madam.
Southwest
In
portion
another
of the
country,
state,
such people are stood up against the wall and shot.
warm winds. Northeast portion.
Please excuse me, madam. I wanted an...
See, that's another crazy internalization of the things that are happening. And in other countries, people are lined up and shot for what's gone on.
the office.
Certainly, Anatol.
Thank you. Continue with madam.
Thunderstorms in mountain area.
Well, Ziggy, what happened?
Something went wrong. I just got through planting the charge in the first storage bin when the alarm system went off.
So the Harmon plant...
Oh man. Okay, so it's the drama is ramping up now. So the barber is in on it. Oh man. This is like, I did not expect this level of drama right away. But so the barber is the informant.
remains open while the FBI swarm all over the place.
Well, I suppose that ends our assignment here.
Our superiors will decide that.
What does it say? Pacific to Nippon, visit beautiful Hawaii this winter. Interesting. Dang, visit beautiful Hawaii this winter, December 1941. I wonder, was it 41 or 42 that Hawaii was attacked? Is this a one-way ticket to Pearl Harbor? Oh, no way it is. Oh my gosh. The 7th, right? That's when Pearl Harbor happened.
A few days, the stupid American democracy will be jolted out of its complacency. We will stay and finish our work. In the meantime, you must act with great caution. We can no longer meet like this. Beulah, you will continue in your...
It's crazy to think that, like, the people in the room are, like, anti-American, like, terrorists. Like, these nice little women and these, like, stern men in the background. Just taking orders from the barber.
present situation.
I guess that is what it was like, though, that there were just spies everywhere. That, like, I guess this is something that you as an American don't really ever think of. But there was a time in our country's history where so many people were let in that, like, you really could not trust people. I guess people will say that, like, it's similar like that now, but there's not like a wartime where it's causing everyone to be so paranoid.
Her name is Beulah Anderson. She's a waitress at the Elite Cafe and the only good lead we have among the daily public contacts of the 5 men who handle that manganese shipment.
What about her?
Well, certain references she gave her employment bureau were fictitious. I checked further. I found that snapshot in her room. I had an expert in architecture break down the background. Now, this is a transparency enlargement of the snapshot's background. These domes and arches indicate that the style of architecture is Byzantine.
This is hilarious that they're doing like forensic analysis of this woman's photograph. Just like if you did this today, like you'd be able to instantly recognize those buildings and like geolocate them. Like just get Rainbolt on this and I bet he could identify where this photo is still. It's just funny that they're like picking apart her photo, trying to find, influences of Russian Orthodoxy in her. It's just like, you would know immediately in this day and age. It's crazy how you could just hide information about yourself like that too. Like back in the day, the only way people would know that you came from Russia is if you had a photo of you with like Orthodox cathedral minarets behind you.
Notice this feature here. What appears to be the base of a column. This is the Mosque of St. Sophia in Istanbul.
Oh, I was about to say, yeah. It's just Hagia Sophia.
What appears to be the base of a column is actually the base of this minaret. Obviously, this snapshot was taken in front of that mosque.
Have Washington telephoto it to the Turkish police.
I love how things used to work back in the day too. Like we have her photo in front of the Hagia Sophia in Turkey. Like contact the Turkish about this. See if they can identify her photo. The chances of like anyone actually being able to make use of that are like so small. It feels like anyway. Federal Bureau of Investigation Turkish intelligence advises subject of picture Dula Binvinko, born Serbia 1909, enacted or engaged in subversion Istanbul prior to current war.
Turkish intelligence advises subject of picture Bula Benvico, born Serbia 1909. Engaged in subversion Istanbul prior to current war.
Shall I pick her up?
No, not yet. We've got to find out who her connections are.
How about getting me a job in that place?
Oh, no, we can't risk it. After that explosion, she'd be suspicious of any new face she saw in that cafe. We've got to watch her 24 hours a day.
That's Benson and Ann.
I'm just curious how much like realism is put into this. I know they said this was fictitious, but they had to have based this off of something. I just wonder if there is like a plot that involves like the Serbian immigrant coming here and like working her own like terrorist cell in random America. I'm so curious about this now.
Andrews, they're both mechanics. That's Paul Green.
What department?
He doesn't work at the plant. He runs a small trucking business in the neighborhood.
Benny,
Paul,
I got it.
the contract?
Yep, Harmon signed it.
Boy, what a break.
I'm starting tonight using all 4 trucks.
Swell.
Yeah, say, I got to phone and tell the wife.
Yeah. And there's the phone, Moocher.
Okay, kid.
Keep the change, Beulah.
Oh, thanks, Benny.
Be seeing you.
Right.
Dang, so I guess what they're trying to highlight is that how like every person who owns a business who like is in like earshot of you during like random conversation is a potential like Soviet or German spy. The degree of paranoia that they're trying to instill into people through videos like this is just like, I don't know, just insane really. It really expresses how serious the time period was, how scared people were of this actually happening.
There she is again.
The wrong move yet.
Oh man, I'm making a call now that like the secret message is going to be in that menu. Like these detectives are trying to figure out how she's communicating, where and when to go, and it's all gonna be there somehow. I'm calling it now. Jeez. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, okay, so this is the saboteur.
Suggests that they intended to use a demolition bomb.
Undoubtedly set to blow up the machine tools these trucks would have hauled tonight.
Here's Benny McDonald.
It's actually crazy how like applicable a lot of this is to like modern day though. Like was there not just like a car bombing the other day? Like have the tools really changed that much?
Paul. But I only saw him this afternoon.
At the Elite Cafe.
And that's right. I bumped into him just as I got through eating.
What'd you talk about?
Well, told me about his good luck. That the plant was going to start using his trucks tonight.
Who waited on you?
Beulah. Beulah Anderson.
Uh-huh. Could she have overheard the conversation?
Sure, she was right there all the time.
Thanks, Benny. All right. She's getting information out of that cafe, all right. We've got to find out how.
Gotta find out how. I wonder how she's getting information out of that cafe. Oh, this is cool. I hope this is at least a little accurate to like what the paperwork actually was. This is an FBI laboratory forensic chemist's report. I want to see like how it even was. Like procedure results, positive, negative. Check papers with reagent or reagent for chemical and invisible markings. This is interesting. I feel like we're seeing, like, yeah, the very earliest, like, forensic investigation taking place. I love how a step is just break apart all the bread. Like, you know they only have that rule because one time somebody snuck in like a key or like a bomb or something in a loaf of bread that nobody checked, and now every time they have to rip every piece of bread apart.
Nothing yet.
Keep at it.
Look, honey, I'm awful sorry, but I gotta stand you up Friday night. Yeah, we're working, loading some freight for Dunston up at the siding. I'll see you Saturday.
Same crowd. Gee, I'm sort of hungry myself.
See what they got, Mark.
All right, let's have a look.
Oh, here it is. They're gonna take a look at the. Oh man, it's happening.
Brisket of beef and horseradish sauce, grenadine of pork, sauerbraten, potato pancakes, corned beef and cabbage.
Sauerbraten and potato pancakes, huh?
Corned beef for me. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Well, 2 bits are out of sauerbraten.
Okay, you got a bet. Grenadine of pork.
This is also such an American like plot development. Those investigators get sidetracked from watching this woman that they start looking at the food menu. Like, yeah, it doesn't get more American than that.
Hamburger and onions and potatoes, brisket of beef, horseradish sauce, sauerbraten, potato pancakes.
It is funny to just see like the meals people were getting. Like this first thing, is that grenadine of pork? Is that a real meal? A grenadine of pork? I can't even imagine what that would taste like. Hamburger, onions, and potatoes. All of these, like, are the onions on the hamburger or are they on the side? Are you eating just onions and potatoes? Brisket of beef and horseradish, sauerkraut, and potato pancakes. That's so funny. Potato pancakes, I don't even know what those are. Corned beef. Corned beef, I still know what that is, but that's an old person thing. Apple or blackberry or lemon pie. Fruit cocktail. Fried chicken today special. Dang. It's what a funny a menu, American menu. Like it has a hamburger. It has everything, but it feels like it's also like it's not in its final form quite yet.
Corned beef and cabbage. Well, that's funny. Out of nothing. Well, this menu reads the same as the other. The only difference is a few lines have been transposed.
See, maybe they...
Right. You get headquarters.
This guy's camera lens, it's like it's a zoom lens, but they're right across the street. That's so funny.
Here, grinders, by rail, Friday, Dunston.
That outfit knows as much about what's going on at the plant as I do.
Apparently.
Mr. Sampson, every one of those gear grinders represents hundreds of hours of skilled handwork. They've got to get to the airplane works at Dunston. They're depending on them.
I'm gonna say it, I am very proud of myself for picking up on that. I feel like that development gave people back in the 40s quite the shock that they were using the menu the whole time.
To tool up a new production unit.
Don't worry, they'll get there, all right. But not by railroad.
That seems like overly complicated though. Like, I don't know if that is an actually realistic way to send messages to people. I feel like the amount of information is so limited, and like you have to be so creative with the food that you offer at the restaurant in order for it to match. I don't know if that's actually like what spies would use.
Hello, Ziggy? Anatol. I'm shipping a valuable quantity of cosmetic supplies by railroad to Dunston Friday. I've consigned them to you.
I'll be expecting it.
The merchandise in great demand. You should have no trouble disposing of it.
We'll dispose of it.
Pass this. All right, fellas, come on, give it to him. That's the idea.
One more shot. A big one. Gee, Mike, I'm sorry.
I ought to... Here, Mike. Let me have a look at it.
It's a nasty rip.
But I have the clinic fix it up.
Yes, sir. See you when I get back, huh, Mike? I'm sorry, Mr. Harmon.
It's all right, Benny.
How's that, Mr. Sampson?
Good. You're to patrol the highway in advance of the trucks throughout the entire trip. Report to me regularly and good luck.
The cavalier way they like message us, like, yeah, just like report to me regularly and good luck. Like, would a police chief ever just say that to you? Yeah, like, report to me and good luck. Dude, these trucks look so funny. I don't want to like just pay attention to the trucks, but like they, I don't know, they don't look American. But they are, it's just they're old, I don't know.
Shall I fill it up?
Thanks. Maybe it'll help me cool off.
Hiya, honey. Waiting long?
You know the show's out at 12. That's my third cup of coffee.
Sorry, we had a late loading job.
Mike, your hand.
It's just a scratch.
What happened?
You were hurrying, trying to load some of those trucks, and that dumb kid brother of yours shoved a little too hard on one of those gear grinders.
Let me see it.
Honey, I says there's nothing to worry about. Come on, let's get going.
I will say this does do a good job of like illustrating that it really can be anyone nearby. Like, these people would never hesitate to say something like that in public. I wonder how many people were just like giving away like government secrets back in the day before they thought that there could even be a spy.
She's leaving 20 minutes before regular quitting time. Let's go.
The cab is slowing down. 700 block Orchard Street. He's pulling to a stop in front of a darkened store. She's getting out. The cab's pulling away. He's walking toward the store. She's admitting herself.
Cover the place, we'll join you.
Okay.
Told not to.
It's just, I don't know. I don't want to pick up on all these little funny details, but I feel like if you're running like a underground terrorist cell, you probably want a better way to check who's at the door than just opening it and letting them in.
Come here.
They changed plans. Those gear grinders didn't go by railroad. They left by truck early this evening.
Who talked?
A loader. I heard him tell his wife.
The American mouth is ideally big.
The American mouth is ideally big. That's it's hard because I don't know what it was like back in the day. It's so funny to think of everyone just spilling their beans in front of everyone.
Long distance? Give me York Flats 306. Thank you. Ziggy may already be on his way to the railroad trestle.
She went in there.
Come on.
Yes? We'll try them every 5 minutes for the next 20 minutes. Thank you. You remain here those 20 minutes. If the call comes through, tell Ziggy I'm on my way to join them.
That store's a blind. Their headquarters must be close by. Go through every place on the block. And round up everybody that was in that cafe tonight.
Right.
It'll be okay.
Bad?
Nah, just a few more minutes.
I feel like I've just been watching this for like 5 minutes now without saying a single thing. And that's just because like the way that they filmmakers would make this back in the day. I've just been watching like people drive on the roads for like minutes now with nothing happening. So I hope this isn't as boring as it kind of is turning out to be.
All clear south of Grayport. All clear. Was Buell around when you said anything at all about the plant?
What do you think I am, a dope? I'm smart enough not to talk about my work. Anyway, I was only in the place a minute.
Did you talk about hurting your hand?
I asked him.
Did he tell you how he hurt it?
He said he got it caught between the wall of a truck and one of those things.
What things?
A gear grinder.
That's it. Contact Freed. Stop the trucks.
Mike, Benny's driving one of those trucks.
Those G-men are a little late in their check bag.
Just a couple of minutes.
Chances are it's that speed maniac.
Keep me covered.
Right.
I was not expecting that. They just have like Tommy guns on like the roof. I don't know if that's a Tommy gun or not, but they just have a machine gun, a police machine gun just on the roof.
Reach. Don't turn around.
Sampson calling Freed. Sampson calling Freed. Come in, Freed. Sampson calling Freed. Come in, Freed. Sampson calling Freed. Sampson calling Freed. Come in, Freed.
Ditch that car.
Sampson calling Freed. Come in, Freed.
Check the truck schedule.
Well, they ought to be between Grayport and Gagestown.
Operator. Operator. Federal Bureau of Investigation emergency. Get me the Gagestown Police Department.
How much longer?
Just a plunger hook up and we're ready.
Keep going. It's Griffin Auto. You were right. FBI.
We were scouting ahead of the trucks.
Take them under cover. Keep your motor running for an instant getaway. And when we blast them, too.
Right.
See, I'm so curious about like the justification of these guys. I know they're supposed to be like terrorists or whatever. There's no backstory here. I know it's just like cut and dry simple, but it's like, what are their reasons for doing this?
Gagetown Police, Mr. Sampson. Patrolling north of Gagetown. No sign of trucks.
Hurry, this may be them.
You may as well enjoy a good look at your last show. Get out.
Dang, it wouldn't be an American movie if it wasn't just some guy punching some other guy in the face and taking his gun. Dang, that was an insane car stunt that they just drove up this like grassy hill. I did not think cars back then could do that level of driving. Alright, is it just me or these trucks like look really funny? I really wish trucks still look like this with like the double. It's because the windshields are broken into two. It looks like they have glasses. I'll be honest, I am having trouble figuring out what exactly is happening because all the characters kind of look the same. I can't tell who's part of the plot and who's part of the FBI. So I really have no idea what's going on anymore.
Sorry to bust up your show, mister.
Your president has said this war will be won by industrial production.
Well, and that's the end of it. That is just like cut back to the original narrator. That was the story of Don't Talk. Hang on, I want to hear the rest that he has to say before I say anything.
To speed this victory, wartime industry is now protected by every precaution your government's vigilance can effect. You, the citizenry of America, constitute the first line of industrial defense. Be on guard. Build a wall of silence around your business, your activities. And at all times exercise the caution of thinking twice before talking once.
That really is like just such an artifact of the paranoia of the time. And why I thought this would be good to watch is because it's hard to imagine like a television program whose entire purpose is to convince you to not like speak with other people. Just what a time, you know, what a bizarre era that governments had to tell their people to not share, you know, details of their daily lives with one another because we thought there might be, you know, spies among us. It really is a window, even though like none of the people or actions in this were real, it definitely is a window into like the mentality of the people of the time. You know, people did really have to write that story, and that the inspiration behind that writing definitely came from somewhere. So even though none of this really happened, I am willing to believe some of it did happen to a degree. But now I know not to talk, and if I do, some of the waitresses at the cafe will know where the bombs are. But I guess now I know not to talk to anyone about anything, because there might be spies nearby, and I have this movie to thank for this. So I think we're just gonna cut to black.